Listen to Roster Watch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
Yes, good morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. I got my coffee. I'm Cody Carpentier, and I'm here from RosterWatch.com to talk you through some of the best starts and sits for Week 5 in this early kick. A couple minutes late here. I know I'm a couple minutes late here. We do the Jets and the Minnesota Vikings kicking off in about 25 minutes. So if you do have any questions for that game, get those in as soon as you possibly can. We appreciate you guys always tapping in. Yesterday, we had the SiriusXM show on SiriusXM channel 87 for Roster Watch. It's a 2-hour show that we do every single Saturday. You can check that out over on SiriusXM. We also do the Underdog Pick'em show directly after that. So we did it at 6 p.m. Eastern time yesterday. However, moving forward, that show is going to be 6 p.m. On Friday, either 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday. I got to discuss that with Alex, as we do have a show conflict on Fridays as well. And then we're also going to be adding 2 shows to the Roster Watch YouTube channel on Monday and Thursdays. They're going to be about 1 o'clock Eastern time. They're going to be pick'em shows, Underdog pick'em shows, specifically for Monday Night Football and specifically for Thursday Night Football. So it's going to be 3 Underdog pick'em shows per week. One on Monday, 1 o'clock for Monday Night Football, one on Thursday, 1 o'clock for Thursday Night Football, and then one on Friday for the Sunday slate. So we appreciate you guys always tuning in, always tapping in. Please remember to click that like button, click subscribe. I'll be here for the next half an hour or so, depending on how things go. But I do appreciate you guys. I already see a bunch of people in the chat. John Cedar Park, shout out to you. I gave you a little shout out on SiriusXM yesterday, John, because mere seconds before Trashman began the garbage grab yesterday, I just kind of, it was really telepathically weird because I'm sitting here back, I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm talking to Trashman, and he goes, "The first player I'd like to talk about in the garbage grab is," and I looked down at my phone, and before he says the words, I see John Cedar Park has added Tyron Tracy, and it was telepathically weird. And then the next words that came out of Trashman's mouth were Tyron Tracy, the top of the garbage grab. So shout out to you, John Cedar Park. George, hey fellas, how do we feel about Sermon this week in half and full PPR? I feel middling on Sermon. There's no Ryan Kelly. The center's gone as well for the Colts. Of course, there's no Anthony Richardson, so it kind of takes away a little bit from the run game. But I think this Colts team, this is interesting. So not that this matters, but I did want to bring this up because we took the Jaguars minus 2.5 on Circa this weekend. And the Circa standings came out last night with Circa selections came out last night with the most selected teams in the Circa Millions contest. And the most selected team in the whole contest for today's games was the Jacksonville Jaguars, minus 2.5. 2,158 people picked them. The least picked team was outside of that Thursday Night Football game. The least picked team was the Colts at plus 2.5. 382 people picked the Colts at plus 2.5. Again, there's no Ryan Kelly, there's no Anthony Richardson, there's no Jonathan Taylor. So that's straight center, quarterback, running back, all out in this game. I think this game features more Michael Pittman than anything. Hopefully we see some ad networking in, but I mean, the way the route shares worked the last couple of weeks, I don't think that's going to be very good. I did stash a little bit of Tyler Goodson coming out of this Colts team just to see what happens with the split in this backfield. I know last year, that first game without Taylor, we saw some Evan Hull. Then Evan Hull got hurt. But I do, and of course, Zach Moss. I can't forget Zach Moss. But Zach Moss had some massive games. I have Sermon, I guess, ranked a little aggressively this week in our team rankings. I have him ranked as running back 10, which feels hot. I think I'm going to bump him down a couple spots. But even then, I still have to keep him in the top 15. Trashman and Alex are, I don't know. I guess I probably should have brought this up in the show yesterday with Trashman. Like, what's your what? Like, I ask him what he's thinking about Sermon, because I currently have Sermon. Like I said, I had him at 10. I just moved him down just a couple notches right now, so I have him at 12, and I still feel good about that. He's got a top 10 matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This team needs to establish the run. And Alex has him as running back 30, and Treshman has him as running back 24. So I feel good about it. I don't hate it at all, George, and I appreciate you dropping the question here. Matt Cassidy, what's up? How we doing? Let's go, Roster Watch Nation. Kevin Weber, Addison, Dell, Waddle, or Juwan Jennings, half PPR. Thanks again. Thank you again for dropping the question in the chat. Addison, Dell, Waddle, or Jennings. Let me see here. Let me pull this up. I'm assuming you get one here. Addison, Dell. Maybe Dell's going to be highest. Let me check this quick. So we got Dell at 45. Addison's at 27. Waddle's up at 47. And Juwan is the one that is at 24. So Juwan's actually 3 spots ahead of Addison for me. Addison kicks off here in a couple of minutes. I mean, I'm middling on this. I think I could make a bull case for Jordan Addison, especially with Sauce Gardner in this game. And I know Addison's going to get a little bit of Sauce, but it's going to be predominantly Jefferson. And we saw Addison come back, be fully healthy. So I think I'm going to make a live adjustment here, Kevin Weber, and I'm going to actually adjust myself to have Addison 1 spot ahead of Jennings, bump Jennings 1 back. So I'm going to have now Addison, wide receiver 24, Juwan Jennings, wide receiver 25. So not only does this show hopefully help you guys, but it helps me as well get these things completely dialed in before kickoff. So I'm going to go Addison here, Kevin Weber. Thank you for the question. John Cedar Park, what's going on, brother? He says non-PPR, Swift or Javonte Williams. Well, non-PPR, it's interesting you brought up in the non-PPR is that Alex on the Underdog show yesterday gave us his picks of the week, and he has Javonte Williams higher than 2.5 receptions, does he, for Javonte Williams. We have Swift consensus right at their running back 17 spot, Javonte right at running back 30. A little bit of PPR is baked in there because Swift is averaging 4.25 targets per game, but Javonte is averaging 3.5. So I think that they're a little interchangeable there. But Swift in totality has the number 1 overall matchup this week with the Carolina Panthers. So I have to go Swift for those reasons. Wonderbread forever. Garrett Wilson, period. Love it. Nice. Hopefully, we get 20 minutes. I do have a couple FFPC lineups I got to make sure I set here quick. So I'm going to set those whilst we're here. If you guys got any questions, make sure you drop them in there. You know what? The biggest thing I had to deal with this weekend was this damn Romeo Doubs thing. It is kind of like it's kind of not making me. It's pissing me off. We'll just put that. It's pissing me off. This Romeo Doubs thing has taken these buys where I have like Devonta Smith on buy. Got Calvin Ridley, unfortunately. I got him on buy, and all of a sudden, it's like, well, I have to start Romeo Doubs. Well, no, you don't. Now you're gonna have to play, Emmanuel Wilson in a spot. And you're like, well, I don't really want to play Emmanuel Wilson. Okay, so you're going to have to play Jerry Jeudy. Okay, well, I like Jerry Jeudy. I just don't love Jerry Jeudy, but he does have a top 5 matchup. So, but Dobbs is like, this is like every team I'm having to deal with this Dobbs thing. And also one spot that killed me was I did the unthinkable in the cardinal rule, which is never play your Thursday night guys in your flex. I have one league that it's actually the league of continuation with Alex and a bunch of guys, and I played Drake London and Mooney in the damn flex. I didn't adjust them out, so they're both in my flex, and then I have Dobbs in the same team, and Dobbs was out, or Dobbs is now out. This is why you don't do this, guys. I'm just going to explain this to you guys live on here. This is why you don't put the guys in the slot in the flex, and you always remember to take them out, because this team, where I should have had London and Mooney in my starting lineup at wide receiver, now, because Neighbors is out and Dobbs is suspended and Rashee Rice is on IR, and I did not adjust London and Mooney from flex to receiver, I had to pick up Juju Smith-Schuster and Jordan Whittington to play in my wide receiver spots. Granted, I'm projected to win by 45 because Mooney and London went off, and I also have Young Hoku. But I literally had to go out and add Juju Smith-Schuster and Jordan Whittington because I did not switch London and Mooney. It was definitely the most aggravating thing I've fucked up in fantasy football in a long time. But that is why you always double check on Thursday night before you kick off. Okay, so that lineup's set. Let me jump back into the chat here and ask a question before I get to the next team. Matt Cassie says CJ Stroud or Jordan Love. When I'm looking at quarterback, these guys are both top 10 plays this week, but I think Jordan Love most definitely is top 5. I have him 3, Trashman has him 4, and Alex has him 5. We love the matchup against the Rams. Even with the 3 picks last week, he was quarterback 2 in all of fantasy football. So I'm rolling with our boy Jordan Love up there in Green Bay. George says, are we rolling with Sermon or Chase Brown? For me, this is Sermon, and it's by about a landslide and a half. I think I have Sermon. I could find Brown here, but I think I have Sermon a clean 23 spots higher than Chase Brown today against the Baltimore Ravens, which is a top or bottom 5 matchup. Okay, so Wonder Bread put Garrett Wilson in the first comment, and then in the second comment he says, or Brian Thomas, full PPR. So we got Garrett Wilson or Brian Thomas. That's an interesting one. Garrett Wilson or Brian Thomas. I mean, I don't know how you can bench Garrett Wilson right now, but Brian Thomas is doing pretty well. I think you still play Garrett. It's a top 10 matchup for receivers, and despite them not fully being on the same page, Rodgers and Wilson, I mean, still averaging 8.5 targets a game, still averaging 15.5 expected fantasy points from PFF, which is top, I think it's like 8th in the league right now. Let me look at this quick. Is it 8th or 9th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th. He's 5th in the league in fantasy points expected per game from PFF. So I don't know how you can bench Garrett Wilson. I understand the allure with Brian Thomas for sure, but I'm just going to stay attached to Aaron Rodgers, not Trevor Lawrence, especially in this situation. Wonderbread, appreciate you. Wonderbread also drops in Braylon Allen or Jerome Ford. One thing I'll mention about Jerome Ford is if you are a Cleveland Browns running back owner, just keep your eye on Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb did come back this week to practice. He hasn't been activated or anything, but he did come back to practice this week. I do have Jerome Ford at running back 18 this week, Braylon Allen running back 26. Ford has that number 10 matchup using the RosterWatch matchup tool. Again, you can go catch all these tools over at RosterWatch.com, becoming a pro or a premium member. Pro members are just $9.99 a month. Premium members, you can pay for the whole year, and you can just get everything that we have, which is like upwards of 14 or 15 tools on the website any given week, including the masterful, mythical, maniacal trade target list from Byron Lambert. There's no trade cast this year, so he's doing the trade market. It's a whole column where he explains every guy he'd like to sell, every guy he'd like to buy, and why over there on rosterwatch.com. So go check that out from Byron Lambert today. Wonder Bread, roll with Jerome Ford in this one. Matt Cassidy, what's going on, brother? He says Standard League bench 1, Dell, Whittington, Flowers, Jennings, Hunt. Whittington, Flowers, Jennings, Hunt. Definitely directly off the cuff, I'm going to say Whittington, but I got to double check the flex rank between he and Hunt. Yeah, it's Whittington. I know the thing with Whittington is I don't want to say we don't know, but we sort of don't. Ooh, that's a horrible coffee. What the fuck? Yuck. I messed that one up. The Whittington thing a couple weeks ago, we saw them come out and run predominantly 12 personnel, which took Whittington off the field, which is something that McVay hasn't done a lot of. And then they went and flipped it this past week. He ran 97% of routes. I'm assuming it's going to be similar, but even with that, he was wide receiver 34. And I love Witt, and I have to play him in that one league, but it's not because I think he's going to go off. So I think you play Dell. He's coming back. You just have to play Flowers, even though Flowers has been, since that first game of the year when he reeled in, what was it, 10 targets or 8 targets, 10 targets. These last 2 weeks have been painful. I still like my upside with Flowers, especially in a divisional game rather than Whittington. And then you have to play Jennings, you have to play Hunt. So bench 1, I'm benching Whittington here. Matt Cassidy, appreciate you tapping in. Tommy Taquito, Christian Kirk, Tank Dell, or Wandale. Need one. You got to play Wandale. What's up now? No surprise after Anthony Richardson was downgraded to doubtful. He's considered very likely that the Colts' Joe Flacco will start today. Thank you for the non-breaking news. Yeah, you have to play Wandale in this one. Wandale's going to get the predominantly. I mean, if Wandale goes south of 10 targets, that would be considered a giant surprise in week 5, I would say. Tight end, Corey Jr. 2000, Likely or Conklin. T-Conk. People disrespecting T-Conk out here in these streets. When you look at the tight end landscape right now, he's been feasting. He's been just fine the last couple of weeks. 4.5 targets. If I told you Tyler Conklin and Isaiah Likely averaging 4.5 targets each through the first 4 weeks of the season, I don't think a lot of people would realize that. 6 fantasy points per game for Conklin, 8.9 for Isaiah Likely. Top 5 matchup for Conklin, bottom 10 matchup for Isaiah Likely this week. Conklin also in that revenge game against Minnesota. Not that I don't think he has anything out to kill with him. I mean, he loved his time in Minnesota. He was the true Viking. But I do think I ride with Conklin today and get nasty with it at the tight end position. Kip C. My boys knocked off Tennessee last night. Haven't had any sleep yet, but we ball. Let's go, Roster Watch Nation. Kip C. One of the real OGs. All right, back to another one of my FFPC lineups. I got to take out Romeo Doubs again here. So we're going to go ahead. This team, I have to play Jefferson, Cortland Sutton. I have to take out Romeo Doubs, and I have to either input Michael Wilson or Zay Flowers. I'm going to go ahead and then put Michael Wilson in for Romeo Doubs in this one. And then do I want to save my quarterback? I'll keep my quarterback. And I'll keep Swift there. Probably going to end up having to cut Cooks, huh? All right, back to the chat. The Harry Snowman, what's going on, brother? Good morning, big dog. Good morning to you as well. Matt Cassidy, full PPR plus half point per rush attempt. Pick one. Stevenson, Dowdle, Roshan. Plus half point per rush attempt. I gotta check the running back script because rush attempts for Rico Dowdle have been going like this the last couple of weeks. But the PPR stuff, he only had 1 target last week. He did finish as a running back 19. For me, I'm taking Stevenson out of the conversation because they said they're going to start Gibson. This could backfire. And they bring in Stevenson for that second drive, and all of a sudden it's just like 50-50 split. It could do something like that. But I want to lean into one of these other two guys. I want to lean into Roshan or I want to lean into Dowdle. And Dowdle's got a horrifically tough matchup this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do think he gets his carries, but what is an extra 3 carries compared to Roshan's carries worth to me? I'm not sure it's worth quite that much. Last week we did see as they said, Roshan's going to get an extended look. That extended look turned into DeAndre Swift going 16 carries, 7 targets, and Roshan getting 5 less opportunities than he did the week before. I'm going to go with Roshan here. I do think that Roshan can close that gap on Dowdle and make up for it in the vacuum where Dowdle, like I said, has a tougher matchup. If the matchups were flipped, I'd definitely go Rico here, but I'm going to go Roshan over Stevenson and Dowdle. It sounds maniacal. I get it. Bob Jimmy. I pronounced that wrong. Bob Jimmy, not Bobby Jim. Full PPR start 2. Kirk, Flowers, Robinson, Sermon, Najee Harris. Brian Robinson was just announced last night that he was going to play for sure. Christian Kirk and Zay Flowers here. Christian Kirk I have down at wide receiver 27. Still averaging 7.25 or 7.25 targets per game is Christian Kirk. I know the last couple of games have definitely increased and helped that. Zay Flowers, the inverse. The targets are going the opposite direction. I have him as wide receiver 35, so I have him lower than Kirk. When I look at the running back position, I told you guys already where I have Sermon. I have him as a top 15 play at the running back position. So Sermon's number 1 for me here. Najee Harris, I do have running back 16 this week with a top 5 matchup against Dallas. And then Brian Robinson is running back 13. So he's just right behind Sermon and right ahead of Najee Harris. So for me, it's Sermon and Brian Robinson in this one. If Robinson goes, we're expecting Robinson to go. If Robinson does not go, then I want to go Najee. I think I'm I'm bad at the game times. I got to see and make sure the times aren't crisscrossed. So Commanders is at 1:00. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Because the Steelers is a night game. Yeah. So if Robinson does not go at 1:00, then I'm going to play Najee tonight. But otherwise, I'm going to go Robinson and Sermon here. Good question, Bobby Jimmy. The Harry Snowman, you're moving too fast yesterday. Couldn't get to your show fast enough. Yeah, we went. I mean, Trashman was trying to get to ACL, Austin City Limits concert. So as soon as the Sirius XM got over, we jumped right in to YouTube and we did the Underdog Pick'em show. So if anybody wants to go check out the Underdog Pick'em show, we did about 10. I think we did like 10 minutes. We're trying to keep these Underdog shows short and concise because, like I said, we're going to be doing multiple per week. We're keeping them dialed. Right now, we're hitting at a 62% rate in props. So there's literally, I don't think anybody in the whole community doing that. I've seen some people that are at 58%. I've seen 55%. That's still good, but it ain't 62%. So we appreciate you guys that tap in to that. Kevin Weber, Tutu or Juwan Jennings. This is an interesting one because, this is always, I love bringing this up. Before the year, if I was going to ask you Juwan Jennings or Tutu Atwell in week 5, you would have said, why are either of these guys on my roster? For the time being, though, I'm going to continue to ride with Juwan Jennings. I think Tutu, Trash Man could probably sell you on Tutu a little bit, but even Trash Man has Juwan Jennings ranked 6 spots higher than Tutu Atwell does. I'm just a little more bullish on Juwan Jennings this week. Pray for a Dell monster game today. Well, that would be interesting, and that would, because this is Diggs' revenge game, right? Diggs gets his revenge game against the Bill. I'd be interested to see if Dell ends up being the one that smashes. That would definitely be a turn of thought here. Matt Cassie, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Stayed tapped in. All right, I got to finish my FFPC lineup. One more. I got one more here to hit, and then we'll be ready for kickoff here in about 5 minutes. I'll do a rapid fire here as soon as I get done with this one. I got to take out my kicker, Mr. Jake Bates. I got to sub him out quick. And let's see here. League. Where's it at? Transaction. All right, there we go. All right, Matt Cassidy, there we go. Fresco. Zay Flowers or Darius Slayton just for this week. Just for this week, I mean, you know the answer. It's Darius Slayton. It has to be. Darius Slayton is not hashtag good, but as far as targets go, as far as trajectory, and there's just too many vacated targets right now in New York with Malik Neighbors down. Darius is the next man up. He ran 37 routes last week, which is one less than Malik Neighbors. This is Slayton's spot. Like, this is Slayton's opportunity. The guy has gotten targeted to this point this year. He hasn't been targeted nearly as much as Wandale or Malik, but he should be the one that steps into that Malik role. I don't expect anything near a top 10 play from Darius Slayton, but I do expect a top 36, top 40 play from Slayton, which it's going to give you probably more than what Zay's given you. So I think I roll with Darius Slayton. Fresco. John in Cedar Park, with Stevenson losing the starting gig, should I play Sutton or Tank Dell instead, or leave him in and hope he still gets touches against Miami? I would go ahead and roll with. I believe I have Dell a touch ahead of Cortland Sutton this week. Let me triple. Where's Sutton at? So many names. Oh man, he resorted this list. Where'd it go? I'm wrong. I have Sutton higher. I have Sutton considerably higher. I was wondering where he went. It's because I had him so much higher. I guess I didn't realize that. I have Sutton as my wide receiver 9 this week. Average 9 targets the last few weeks. Top 10 matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders does Cortland Sutton have. I'm going to go with Cortland Sutton here. I know this offense has been kind of abysmal to watch, but again, this guy's been peppered. 30 targets, 34 targets in the last through the season, 30 targets in his 3 highest games. He has yet to crack top 24. I think it's coming this week against the Raiders, John. Dylan Flink, massive question. You need help. Full PPR, different leagues. 2 questions. Start 1 quarterback and 2 flex. Murray and Fields. and then Akers, Waddle, Wicks, and Jennings. So quarterback, we're going Murray and Fields. I have Fields as a top 12 play, Murray as a top 8 play. So we're going to go Murray here, quarterback 8. And then the flex, you need 2 flex, Akers, Waddle, Wicks, and Jennings. I know one thing's for certain, that's that I have Wicks higher than the former. So Waddle, Jennings, and Akers. Akers, I'm lower on the consensus. Waddle and Jennings. Jennings, I have as a wide receiver 25, and Waddle as wide receiver 47. So I'm going to go Jennings and Wicks. And then your last ones is start 3 is Terry. I'm assuming McLaurin, Ayuk, Wicks, Downs, and Sutton. We're going to go Terry McLaurin, Wicks, and Sutton. Terry McLaurin, Wicks, and Sutton for this one, Dylan Fink. Andrew Siebert, appreciate you jumping in the chat today. PPR need 1 running back and 1 flex. Wan'Dale Robinson, Xavier Worthy, Trace Urban Hunt, Javonte, thank you. 1 running back and 1 flex. That running back is going to be Trey Sermon ahead of Hunt and Javonte, and the receiver is between Wan'Dale and Worthy. So Wan'Dale I have as my running back, my wide receiver 30. He could probably play running back, wide receiver 33, and I have Xavier Worthy as running back 28 on Monday Night Football. I'm going to go ahead and ride with Xavier Worthy. Bob Jimmy got offered Mahomes, Neighbors, Bijan. Oh my gosh. For CMC, Mason, Prescott. Worth it? I got offered Mahomes, Neighbors, Bijan for you have to give up McCaffrey, Mason, Prescott. Yeah, man, I'm doing that. I know McCaffrey's projected to be back in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And Mason's been a stalwart at the running back position to this point. But you're getting the best player overall at the quarterback position, Mahomes. I know he hasn't fantasy-wise been up to that level, but I think it's still coming. I'm not worried about Mahomes at all. Prescott just lost Brandon Cooks. At the receiver position, you're getting Neighbors. And in totality, I mean, Mason and McCaffrey are going to outperform Bijan when they're one-offs. But even when McCaffrey comes back, I'm a little bit worried that Mason's still going to have a role for a couple weeks, and that's going to nuke in fantasy. So it's going to nuke us in fantasy. So I'm going to roll with Bijan's side. I also love Neighbors and think Neighbors are going to be just fine. He's coming off a concussion, not a torn ACL or anything like that. So give me the Mahomes, Neighbors, Bijan side. Danzel Barrett, Jennings, Wicks, Cooper, or Wilson. Pick 2. Well, I for sure have Wicks up here. And then you said Amari Cooper, Juwan Jennings. Let's see here. So Juwan Jennings is wide receiver 25. Wicks is wide receiver 24. And then you have Cooper and Wilson. I don't know which Wilson that is. If that's Michael Wilson or if that's Garrett Wilson. I'm assuming it's Michael Wilson, which at what point I have him lower. I have him at wide receiver 40. And the other one you have on here is Amari Cooper. So right now I'm going Amari Cooper and Wicks. If it's Garrett Wilson, then I'm going Garrett Wilson and Cooper. But like I said, if it's Michael Wilson, then we're going Wicks and Cooper. Then George says, thanks, Cody. Last question. Waddle or Whittington? Can't believe it comes to this. Thanks and enjoy your Sunday. I just can't. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can put Whittington in there ahead of Waddle. I just can't. I love the matchup and stuff, but I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. I wish I could tell. I wish I wasn't a coward. I wish I could tell you to do it. I can't do it though, George. I had to do it in my one league, but that's because I messed up. Yeah, one of the cardinal rules: don't ever play your Thursday guys in the flex. I made the cardinal mistake. I had to do it, but I don't think I can play Waddle. I don't think I can bench Waddle for Whittington this week. Not until I see an actual game of killing. Matt Cassidy, pick 2. He says Worthy, Adunze, Coleman, or Dell. Worthy, Adunze, Coleman, or Dell. So I have Dell 45, Adunze 46, Worthy at 29. And then Keon Coleman is down at 60 this week, which feels a little bit low for a guy that's averaged 4.5 targets a game, or what is it, 4 targets a game, something like this. I'm wrong. I'm reading the long line. 3 targets a game. So we got Worthy, and then like I said before, we have Tank and Romadense back-to-back. So I'm going to go Tank and Worthy, the 265 pounders, leaning Worthy and Coleman. Yeah, I'm going Tank and Worthy. So Worthy and Coleman, I get it, but I'm just going to lean more towards Tank in that one. Miggy says, I started Mooney. I have Ayuk, Hill, Kirk, and Wandale. Should I sell high on Wandale? I need running back. I started Mooney. I have Ayuk, Hill, Kirk, and Wandale. Should I sell high on Wandale and need running back? Yeah, I would. If you can get anything out of Wandale, I would do it. I don't think this is a long-standing. I don't think this is going to turn into like a Brandon Cooks type of a career where this guy's going to be like a consistent piece here. Like, he's getting targeted, but again, for fantasy football, you're not getting anything. You're getting wide receiver 31, wide receiver 31, wide receiver 32. And then all of a sudden, he pops up to wide receiver 17 because he, a little bit more. Like, I'm never going to be fully in on. I love Wandale. I've had him as an undercovered op in past weeks for the last couple of seasons, but that was more for opportunities. And you're seeing the opportunities come to fruition now. But there's a difference between opportunities and being a fantasy king. And Wandale, if you can ever sell and get true value out of it, you have to take advantage. PPR, flex PPR, Myers or Tyron Tracy. I like Tyron Tracy today with the Giants. No Devin Singletary. I like Tracy. I even like Eric Gray to a certain extent. So I'm going Tyron Tracy today. That's we're going to get that rookie breakout. Morning from Canada, Donnie Vez. Half PPR, Ertz or Parkinson. I hope Ertz does not have Parkinson's, but I know Brett Favre does. Ertz or Parkinson. We have Parkinson. We have him as a consensus tight end 9, and Ertz we have as consent. Wow, why is he so low? Gosh, Trashman and Alex just hate Zach Ertz. They just hate him. I'm gonna have to rank this guy number 1 of these weeks and just see if I can psychologically manipulate them into ranking him higher or something. I don't know what I'm going to have to do, but I have Ertz as my tight end 12 and Parkinson as my tight end 17 this week. They have it completely flipped. They have Parkinson as a top 10 play and Ertz as a 19 and 20 play. So I'm going to tell you Ertz. RosterWatch would tell you to go to Parkinson because of the aggregate. So give me Ertz, though, attached to Jaden Daniels, the rookie of the year. Tutu Atwell or Juwan Jennings. Again, like I said before, this one for me, I'm just kind of going to roll with what I know, and that's Juwan Jennings' role here in San Francisco. I get the Tutu thing. I don't love the Tutu thing. I'm going to stick with the top 10 matchup with Juwan Jennings here, Derek. Best of luck. Iconic Farmer, 12-team PPR. Who do I start in the flex? Brian Thomas or Wicks with no Dobbs playing? Wicks, I have, like I said, wide receiver 25, and Thomas, we have sitting here wide receiver 10. So I'm going Brian Thomas in week 5. Bo Murphy, Packers. If Trey McBride is out, should I get Dalton Kincaid or Jake Ferguson? If Trey McBride is out, you get a pretty good tight end room. If Trey McBride is out, should I get Dalton Kincaid or Jake Ferguson? Dalton Kincaid I have this week. We have him as tight end 11. And Jake Ferguson we have as tight end 4. So you're going Jake Ferguson. Pretty clear cut in this one. Thanks for the question, Bo Murphy, Packer. Second here. All right. Johnson Robinson. Would you trade Trey Tucker for Christian Watson redraft? I would not. Christian Watson, when we see him get hurt, he doesn't get healthy. So he's hurt right now. I'm not going to go out and buy Christian Watson. Trey Tucker, I nicknamed him Mr. Consistency at the Senior Bowl because it's what he was, and he's consistent. When he's on the field, he plays consistent. And when he's consistent, you can consistently use him in fantasy. So I actually started him in 2 spots today already. I'm not getting rid of Trey Tucker until they bench Trey Tucker. And I don't know if they'll ever bench Trey Tucker until they get better talent there. Need 1 PPR. France, shout out to my boy. Tyron Tracy, Bo Melton, Antonio Gibson, or Trey Tucker. Thanks, my dog. Well, this is going to come down to our guys, Tyrone Tracy and Antonio Gibson, who I know I have back to back in the rankings right now. Running back 19 and running back 20. Gibson, I have at 19. Tyrone Tracy, I have at 20. I like Antonio Gibson's matchup just a touch better, so I'm going to go ahead and ride with Antonio Gibson. We got a question from Danzel Barrett. He says, is he starting Sam Darnold or Geno Smith this week in fantasy football? Geno Smith have him at quarterback 17, and Sam Darnold, well, Sam Darnold just kicked off 8 minutes ago, so hopefully, sorry, I apologize for not getting this question in. I know it looks like we're actually 18 minutes behind on questions, but trying to get through it. Hopefully you got your lineup set before this, but I would have played Geno by a couple of plays, just 19 versus 17 in the rankings here. Well, it looks like we do have a couple of other Vikings Jets questions here, but Kyler or Jaden Daniels? Jaden Daniels have as quarterback 2, Kyler Murray quarterback 8. So I'm always going to ride with Jaden Daniels. I mean, this guy's a wagon right now, and until he proves otherwise, you kind of just have to ride with him. I know it's a tougher matchup against Cleveland today, but this is where you grow. Lazard or Waddle? Again, apologies for not getting to this question before kickoff happened. Maybe I should have started early. Maybe I shouldn't have showed up late, something like that. But Lazard have him as wide receiver 30. I know you already had to set your lineup, but I'm just going to answer the question anyways, because that's the number one rule of the show. You got to answer the question. I would have started Lazard. Start 4 here. Hubbard, Pickens, Tyreek, Jerome Ford, Ayuk, Etienne, Moore. So we have to bench 3, it looks like. So start 4, bench 3. Moore is Elijah Moore, I'm assuming, so I'm going to bench him. I'm playing Etienne. I'm playing Ayuk. I'm playing Ford. I'm benching Hubbard, and I'm benching Hill. So I'm playing Pickens, Ford, Ayuk, and Etienne today. Pickens, Ford, Ayuk, and Etienne today. Kevin Clark says Kraft and Brian Thomas Jr. over Mandrews and Flowers. Yes. Musgrave expected not to play. I'm playing him over Mandrews. Brian Thomas Jr., the output's just been better than Flowers. You just kind of have to roll with what it is. Chicago D, Javonte or Justice, Leggett or Tyreek. Again, this Tyreek thing is I hate answering these questions because Tyreek is Tyreek, and nobody ever wants to bench Tyreek, but you just kind of have to be where you are. And where we are right now is in a place that Tyreek isn't getting anything. So I have to say Leggett, and I don't want to say Leggett. So take that for what it is. Javonte and Justice. Javonte I have as running back 30. Justice running back 22. So I'm riding with Justice. What are you thinking about Xavier Worthy? Are we still getting more Cockamamie, Juju, and Watson over him? We love Worthy. We've always loved Worthy. We're always going to love Worthy. But I will say I've played some Juju today for unfortunate reasons. Kip C. But we definitely prefer Worthy. Derek Just, flex full PPR, pick 1, Ford, Downs, Ayuk. I have Ford higher in flex here. Derek Just, thanks for the question. Appreciate you tapping in here. Steel Bill, we're trying to get caught up here. I'm going to do rapid fire. Steel Bill, GM, good morning. Appreciate the advice last week. Picked up Brian Thomas, dropped Christian Watson. Hopefully that worked out for you well. Steel Bill, we appreciate you. And we love you for tapping in. Son of a Beach, Ty. Need a bye week quarterback, 6-point passing touchdown. Lawrence, Watson, Carr, or Caleb. Lawrence, Watson, Carr, or Caleb at the quarterback position. Let's see here. Lawrence, Watson, Carr, or Caleb. So Caleb, I got him at quarterback 11. I think the next, everybody else you have on this list is outside of quarterback 15 and below. So I'm going to go with Caleb here in this one. Son of a Beach, best of luck. Kip C, the show this year as a whole are humming. Love to see it. Oh, appreciate you, brother. That's I appreciate. I'm happy to hear that. So thank you for tapping in here. Let me check and make sure we don't have any super chats. Last week I let a couple of them slip down. Looks like we don't have any. So I'm going to go back up here. All right. Son of a Beach says, full point PPR flex, Swift or Christian Kirk. We are a nation at RosterWatch.com. DeAndre Swift or Christian Kirk this week. I'm going to go ahead and ride with Christian Kirk by just a couple notches. Christian Kirk close by. Again, Christian Kirk have him as wide receiver 28 this week, averaged 7.25 targets per game so far this season, 24% target share. The Christian Kirk game is it's coming down the pipeline. I don't know whether it happens today against the Indianapolis Colts with no Kenny Moore, but it might just happen today against the Colts with no Kenny Moore. The last 3 weeks, he went from wide receiver 80 to 21 to 14. May this week be the Christian Kirk wide receiver 1 week? I don't know, but it might just be. Tutu Atwell or Tank Dizzy. Heisenberg. I'm gonna roll with Tank Dell here today. I have him, I think, about 20 spots higher than Tutu Atwell. Again, I'm not as high on Tutu Atwell as the consensus is this week. Nick M, pick 2, Waddle, Tank, or Downs. We're going Tank for sure, like I just said a minute ago, and then Waddle or Downs. Waddle is wide receiver 47, Downs is 43. So we're going Downs, and we're down with Tank Dell. That's what it is, Nick. Mike, flex play, Tyron Tracy, Tank Dell, Roma Dunze. Thanks to all you guys at Roster Watch. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you tapping in on the weekly basis. We always try to get the best that we can possibly give. Tank Dell, Roma Dunze. Dell and Adunze are back to back, and then Tyron Tracy at the running back position is the preferred preference here as a flex. So if you have to pick one, we're going Tyron Tracy. If you pick 2, we're going Tracy, and then Dell, who is 1 spot ahead of Rome there on the ranks. Road to the rut. I need to drop 1 and pick up a defense. Rice or Dobbs. Unfortunately, we don't know what this Rice thing has. As a result, we don't know what the I think it's an ACL. I thought it was an ACL on day 1, but because they haven't said it's ACL yet, it could be something different. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and tell you to drop Dobbs. I wish you had a IR spot you could put Rice into. I'm going to tell you to drop Dobbs for the week. Over 4,000 people have already dropped Dobbs in sleeper leagues, so that is what it is. Unfortunately, the rumor, again, they suspended him for this week. They say he's going to be back next week, but the rumor is that not that he was unhappy about not getting targets, because the guy's been getting targets, but more so that he's potentially in the center of a trade that did not end up going through, and mentally he couldn't take that on. And I'm not going to bring up anything about my pre-draft process and what I've said about the guy, because I've kind of circled back and said that I like him as a player, and I've respected his growth and maturation as a player. But I will say part of the reason I didn't love him as a prospect was his mentals weren't they're not diva. People are saying, "Oh, as a receiver, it's a diva." He's the opposite of a diva. That's the thing. Like, I think it might have shut him down mentally. The fact that he's potentially getting traded. That's where I go to with Romeo Dobbs, is that potentially he's like, "Well, man, this team's quitting on me. Well, I'm going to quit on them," and I'm just like, I don't want to say depressed or anything like that, because I was like that earlier. I dealt with that in life, and I know that's a different thing, but I think this is a sticky situation for Green Bay and for Dobbs. So I'm going to go ahead and say cut Dobbs for the week and see what happens. Danzel, Barrett, Garrett Wilson. Okay, yeah, then I would say Garrett Wilson then. Matt Cassidy, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for all you do and the Roster Watch crew do for us. Appreciate you, Matt Cassidy. Always, every single week, one of the OGs of the team here. Enjoy your Sunday as well. Kip C in PPR, should I roll some of the replacement running backs, Sermon Hunt over Tyreek? I have DK and Jaden Reed in at wide receiver. Yes. Roll with Sermon and Hunt. You got to do it. Like I said, this Tyreek thing is painful, man. We need Tua back more than anything in the world. Even if they could go get Russ, if this Tua thing's not going to happen, go get Russ or something. I don't know, but definitely need some help. Jag, 1 flex spot left. Do I give it to Jacoby Myers, Wanda Robinson, or Josh Downs? The answer this week, Jag, is Wanda Robinson. If he disappoints, I will be shocked if Wanda Robinson does not give us at least that wide receiver 28 to 35. If we don't at least get somewhere in there in that 12 to, that's all we really want right now. We just need some consistency in this flex spot. So give us 12 to 15 to 16 fantasy points in the upwards of potentially a touchdown. I'll take that out of Wanda Robinson. Sly Salinas. Thanks, Cody. Good luck, everyone. Appreciate you, Sly, for tapping in here. We're getting down to the final questions here. Full PPR, Isaiah Alexis with a 20 namer here. Full PPR, he says Kyler Murray, Derrick Henry, James Cook, CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison, Kyle Pitts, Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson, David Montgomery, Justice Hill, Chase Brown, Jacoby Myers, Jameson Williams, TJ Hawkinson on the IR. Any tips? I'm 2-2. Not really. Not really any tips. Like, your roster's fine. Like, you have requisite wide receiver depth and high end talent. Lamb, Harrison, I love the depth. Evans and Deontay, Jameson. I guess maybe one thing I would do is probably cut bait on Jacoby Myers. You're never going to play him unless you're super bye week or people get hurt. I would cut Jacoby Myers and try to add another running back that has upside in case injuries do happen. I would do that. I would cut Jacoby and add a running back, something like a Jalen Wright, Blake Corum, someone with upside, someone explosive, Tyler Goodson this week, things like that. K Quicks, I started Flacco over Rodgers with no other options on the bench. 12-man, 2 QB, full PPR league. Did I fuck up? Started Flacco over. I don't think you fucked up. I mean, it's Rodgers against the Vikings. He's done pretty well against the Vikings in his career. Have it been. It was always against Mike Zimmer. It's never been against Brian Flores. So I'll be interested to see what happens. I'd like to get off here in a minute and actually go watch that game, to be honest with you. I don't think you fucked up, though, by any means. At the quarterback position this week for rankings, I'll just tell you exactly where I have these two guys. Flacco, quarterback 16. Rodgers, quarterback 26. So I'm actually consensus a little bit vastly higher on Flacco than Rodgers. David Torres, deep league start at the flex start. Slayton, deep league start at the flex start. Slayton, Roshan, or Njoku. Slayton. I think I'm rolling Slayton here. I said that way too quick. That seemed a little. As soon as I said that, I was like, wait, I'm wrong. I need to go check. Roshan 31. And then receiver here. Cross positionally. No, it's Roshan. No, it's the number one matchup, but for running backs, the Roshan thing tilted it. It's Roshan by a couple spots ahead of Darius Slayton for me. Roshan Johnson. I know Njoku's back. It's interesting, but I'll take Roshan against the number one matchup for running backs this week. Gil Munzo, PPR sit one. Atwell, Jennings, Dell. I'm sitting Atwell. I know people like Atwell. Like I said, I've said this the whole show. Maybe because now I guess the player I've been anti most in this show would be Atwell. So maybe that means he's going to do good. Maybe I should put him in a couple of DFS lineups. I don't know, but I'm going to sit Atwell here. Gil, appreciate the question. Siobhan, 1107, need one flex, 2 wide receiver spot, full PPR, 10-man league. Ayuk, Wicks, Shaheed, and Wandale. We're going Wandale and Wicks, and then between Ayuk and Shaheed, I have Ayuk at wide receiver 32 and Shaheed at wide receiver 36. So we're going Ayuk. We're doing Ayuk, Wicks, and Wandale. Gamunzo, Keenan Allen, Whittington, Madison. PPR need 1. We're going Madison here. The starting running back for the Las Vegas Raiders. He catches passes out of the backfield. Again, I think he's going to be just fine. 3 pukey people to pick from. I'm going to roll with the pukiest in Madison here. Soggy Danger, good morning. Pick 1 for PPR flex. Leggett, Del, Rome. Like I said, Dell and Rome are back-to-back. Leggett himself is at wide receiver 38, which is 5 spots higher than Dell and Rome. So we're going Leggett today. Armando says Olave, Higgins, or Deontay Johnson half PPR. This is an interesting one because it's really tough right now to bench Deontay Johnson in any way, shape, or form of fantasy football. I know it's in half PPR, so that does leave the window open a little bit. But even in that window, I can't play Olave, and I definitely can't play Higgins. I have Deontay Johnson 7 spots higher than Olave right now. It's a tough matchup against Chicago, but targets are targets for Deontay Johnson. Armando, best of luck today. Appreciate you. Bob Bryant says Njoku or Colby Parkinson, Njoku or Colby Parkinson, have both of these guys as top 15 plays this week. Consensus, we're going to lean towards Parkinson as a team. Brian Thomas Jr. or Terry McLaurin says Faro. Brian Thomas Jr. or Terry McLaurin from Faro. Brian Thomas Jr. as my wide receiver 10 this week. McLaurin just a few slots lower at wide receiver 20. So I'm going to ride with Brian Thomas today against the Indianapolis Colts. Jacob Hazen, Amari Cooper or Terry McLaurin. Amari Cooper or Terry McLaurin. I just brought up Terry McLaurin just a second ago. He's a wide receiver 20. We got Amari Cooper at wide receiver 16 with the number one matchup against wide receivers. So that's the Washington Commanders. We're going to ride with Amari Cooper in that one. Donnie Vez, how we doing? Half PPR starting Hall. Need running back 2. Not great options. Stevenson, Gibson, or Sermon. I'm riding with Sermon. Give us Trey Sermon. See if we can't get a little bit of that action, a little bit of that Jonathan Taylor action out of Trey Sermon with a healthy. He's got fresh legs coming in this week. We'll see what we can get with 1 week of output, but I don't think you can go wrong with Gibson either. But I do lean Trey Sermon. JB says need upside, PPR, Dontavian Wicks or Shaheed. I think you need upside and floor. Give me Dontavian Wicks in that one. Super upside, sure, you got Shaheed, but I think you get upside and floor with Wicks. He's overall better player, better situation, better everything. Derek says Freiermuth or Parkinson here. Freiermuth, have him as tight end 11, and then Parkinson, like I just said before, a little bit lower than that. So we're going to go ahead and ride with Freiermuth. I love Freiermuth. He's been Mr. Consistency consistently in Pittsburgh, 9.5 points per game in fantasy football for tight ends. When you look at the tight end landscape, very few guys have scored more than him on a points per game basis. Kittle's 14.3 points per game, McBride 10.7, Bowers 10.7, Ferguson 10.6, Kmet 10, and Freiermuth 9.6. So that's tight end 6 on a points per game basis to this point this year, Derek. Soggy Danger, hit that like button. We appreciate you for hitting that like button as well, Soggy Danger. You are a dog. Jack and Ban Florida boy. I don't know what the hell. Xavier Worthy or Zay Flowers at flex. Zay over Zay. Give me Xavier Worthy on Monday Night Football. Miles M. Wicks or Ford for PPR flex. Give me Dontavian Wicks and the Green Bay Packers. Siobhan says, is Njoku playing? It sounds like Njoku's playing. The last I heard, David Njoku was playing. So let me double check right now. Insider reveals David Njoku status for the Commanders game. Expected to have David Njoku in Sunday lineup. That was according to NBC 2 hours ago. So, yes, I'm expecting Njoku to continue to play. Steve, Mahomes or Flacco? Mahomes or Flacco? Again, I just told y'all I had Flacco pretty high at quarterback 16, but it is not as high as Patty Mack at quarterback 9. So I appreciate you guys for dropping that question here, Steve. Couple more questions, and then we'll get out of here because I need to go watch some of this. Oh, no. Sam Darnold is down. Trainers out to check on him. Got hammered by Chaz Surratt, former Minnesota Viking. That's not cool. Man, that's the one thing that could nuke this team. Little Sammy D going down. All right, back to the questions here. Well, Wallbang. Got to pick 3 of these 4 guys: Pickens, Ayuk, Pittman, or ETN. I'm going with Pickens, Pittman, and ETN. I think ETN has his opportunity today. He's going to go north of 80 yards. Pittman's going to get peppered with targets. And then I'm going to go Pickens over Ayuk in this one. Ajaj, T. Higgins, or Chris Olave. T. Higgins or Chris Olave. I have Chris Olave, looks like 5 spots ahead of T. Higgins this week at the wide receiver position. Thank you. Also have Wandale. You also have Wandale. Well, I'm playing Wandale over Pickens, and so I'm going Pittman, Etienne, and Wandale, Mr. Wallbang. Kip C. No, today is about lineups, but I did see Byron mention Jonathan Brooks. Is it time to try to get him off someone or Chubb, or do the Browns' awful offense potential name value drop him below Brooks? Brooks is going to take time. Brooks is not going to be the immediate starter. Brooks is going to take over for Sanders. This is per sources. Brooks is going to take over for Sanders and then work in. So we're not even going to get a full-blown Brooks until week probably 11, 12 if we do get it, Chuba's still getting Chuba's run. There's no intention to have Brooks be the killer in 2024. That's 2025's game plan. They just want to get his legs under him in 2024. So I would lean Chubb here for sure. Fabi Wall, pick 2 in full PPR. Sermon, Coleman, Hill. I'm taking Sermon, and then yes, so between Keon Coleman and Tyreek Hill, that gets a little too far down for me. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. Oh no, I grabbed Conklin. He's playing right now. Njoku is on bench. Damn early UK game. I would have played Njoku. Thoughts on Conklin matchup for tight end position against Minnesota? I like Conklin this week, actually, to be honest with you. I have Njoku as my tight end 14, and I have Conklin as my tight end 12. Conklin's got a top 5 matchup. He got the number 3 matchup against tight ends. He's also got the revenge game factor for the Minnesota Vikings, against the Minnesota Vikings. Siobhan, I think you're okay. Flocka started down Lazard over Juwan Jennings for my last flex spot. Did I goof? No, I don't think you goofed. I think we prefer Jennings by a little bit, but not that much. So Lazard always has opportunity to score a touchdown or 2 from Aaron Rodgers. It's just the maniacal connection until Devontae Adams gets to town, and then Alex Dunlap can bend the knee, and we can all rejoice with Devontae Adams getting that Ellen Lazard work. Max, thanks, Cody. You're him for fantasy football, bro. I appreciate it, Max. You're him for being in the chat and tapping in every single week. Appreciate it. Matt Cassidy, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you as always. Fabi Wall, need 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, and full PPR. Keon Coleman, Cortland Sutton, Jordan Whittington, Trey Sermon, Justice Hill, already playing Derrick Henry at running back. Need 1 wide receiver and 1 flex. I have Sutton for sure as my highest wide receiver here, wide receiver 10, and then my flex is definitely going to be Trey Sermon with the Indianapolis Colts. Fabi Wall, appreciate you tapping in here. At least Nick Mullins is a competent quarterback. You know what? I don't even care. Whoever Kevin O'Connell puts out there, I trust Kevin O'Connell. South SCO 650. Ayuk, Pickens, MHJ, JSN, Downs start 4. So that means we have to bench 1, and the 1 player we're going to bench here is, of course, Brandon Ayuk. Max, Downs or Wicks rest of season PPR? Wicks rest of season PPR. Give me Wicks rest of season PPR. Downs, it's a little too Wan'Dale Robinson-ish for me. Wicks' opportunity to take that spot was last week, and now he has an opportunity to put his foot on Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs' throat this week. Juan Pena, we're getting down to the final. We're going to rip through these. I got to get out of here. Juan Pena, who for my wide receiver 1, running back, oh my gosh, wide receiver 1 and 2, running back 1 and 2, and flex. Jesus Christ. Calvin Ridley, Wanda Robinson, Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore, Juwan Jennings, or Tank Dell. Wanda Robinson, Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore. So I got to go DJ Moore and Tank Dell. Running back 1 and 2, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Jerome Ford, Kyron Williams. Breece Hall and Kyron Williams. Or Josh Jacobs. Ooh. Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs. Those are your 3 guys for running back 1 and flex. DJ Moore, Dell, Hall. DJ Moore, Dell, Kyron. Wait, you already had to play Hall if you didn't play Hall. I'm assuming you already played Hall. Hall, Walker, and Kyron. I didn't know how you can bench Jacobs. Your team has too many running backs on it, brother. You guys trade one of those 4 running backs and get another receiver. I would trade Ken Walker or Breece Hall and try to upgrade the wide receiver position because you need some help there. Also, Calvin Ridley, I think, is on bye this week, Juwan. Oh, yeah, he's already playing early. Kmet or Kittle? 2 of the better players right now at the tight end position, but I got to go with Kittle. Kittle, Kmet, or Freiermuth? Still got to go Kittle here. Appreciate the question. Jay Bonds, full PPR need 2. Kareem Hunt, Jerome Ford, Trey Sermon, or Jordan Whittington. We're going Trey Sermon here. Need 2. Your second one's either Hunt, Ford, or Whittington. I haven't had a Hunt or Ford one here. Hunt is 21 and Ford is 18. So we're going to go Ford. So Ford and Sermon here. How are we feeling about Tyron Tracy? I love me some Tyron Tracy. I'm ready for Tyron Tracy's breakout to be today. I'm going to actually plug him into some DFS stuff. I'm excited about it. I don't think it's going to be a killer day, but I do think we're going to get enough out of Tyron Tracy to have upside expectations in Dynasty and potentially see him get more of a workload as the season continues. Kip C, let's have a good week. Go get some coffee. Cody, get some wins today. You get some wins as well. Best of luck to y'all. Siobhan, thank you. Hey, thank you, Siobhan, for the new sub. We appreciate you. Eric Easterling, Sermon or Wicks? Wicks. K Quicks says Fields or Murray at the quarterback position. I think I had this one earlier, but Fields or Murray. Murray quarterback 8. Thanks again, Max. Appreciate you tapping in. When do you usually stream? Says South Sco. So Monday, this is the schedule going forward. Everybody listen here. Monday will be the Underdog Pick'em show, 1 p.m. Eastern time for Monday Night Football. Tuesday will be the Waiver Wire show. That's 2:30. Wednesday, 8 p.m. for the Circa Millions cast. Thursday, 1 p.m. for the Underdog Pick'em show for Thursday Night Football. Friday will be either 6 or 8 p.m. for the Underdog weekend slate. And then Sunday for the Pick'em show right now, 9 a.m. Eastern time for the Start or Sit show. South Sco, appreciate you jumping in, dropping that question. That is the schedule going forward. We're just adding those Underdog shows and adjusting some scheduling for that. Senior Rojo, I think I missed this one. Need 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Tank Dell, Keon, Trey Tucker, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford. We're going Jerome Ford and Tank. Tracy or Sermon? We're going with Sermon here. I've answered that question so many times today. I'm like starting to forget where I have Sermon. Sermon's 12. Yes, I have Sermon up there. All right, last one. Steven Zick. Appreciate you guys tapping in. We got 60 minutes strong, half PPR Kraft or Freiermuth. We're going with Freiermuth. I was going to say Kraft, but we're going with Freiermuth and then Mahomes or Geno. I do have Mahomes quarterback 9 and Geno quarterback 17. So we're going with Mahomes and we're going with Freiermuth. Again, everybody, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for tapping in. Click that like button on your way out. Click subscribe. Turn the bells on. Like I said, we're live every single day, but Saturday going forward, Monday through Friday, and of course, Sunday for the Starter Sit. Enjoy this beautiful Sunday. Go watch some London football, Vikings and New York Jets. Until next time, we'll see you.